Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another Crazy Tyler's whatever this is. So, this is technically a little different. So, if you are a football fan, this is a video that you will love. If you're not a football fan or whatnot, I don't know, because at this moment, I think anyone really doesn't really care because the whole coronavirus thing. So, people are so bored to the point that they are looking for something to watch. So, either way, you came to the right place. This is your one and only Crazy Tyler here, doing the 2020 NFL mock draft with all the included trades, free agent signings. Let's just get this out the way. This free agency is something very bizarre. Ever since the coronavirus hit, I feel like everyone went crazy, not just the shoppers, the people in retail, everybody right now, other than this coronavirus, it's also been affecting these NFL owners and general managers. All these NFL teams have been making different crazy moves that I've never seen in any free agency in a long time. We've seen Tom Brady pull a Joe Montana move by going and leaving the New England Patriots for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is something really bizarre. This and then Philip Rivers going to the Indianapolis Colts is just really crazy. You would think they're gonna die by their team or whatever, retire by the team they started with. I guess not. This world has imploded, I guess. So we're one step closer from really imploding from a meteor right now. So dark jokes, always fun. Anyways, I'm kind of getting tired of talking and everything about this whole coronavirus thing, mixing it in with the NFL. But let's get this out the way. I feel like this coronavirus thing is going to blow off really soon. It's going to be gone by the time the NFL season will start. Hopefully, knock on wood here, because they've already technically canceled the NBA season, which is the first time ever in history, I believe. They canceled NHL, all sporting events. It's insane. So hopefully, and also the XFL, which is pretty disappointing, but hopefully it doesn't affect the NFL by its 2020 season. Now, let's get this out the way. Since I got that out the way, let's see here. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals have made moves. We already know Joe Burrow is going number one. I mean, he's the pick for the Bengals. Now, I have a prediction, but I'm not going to do it right here due to the needs, I guess, and the current picks. This is without trades right now, but in my world, I would see the Washington Redskins trading, or no, the Carolina Panthers trading for the Redskins pick so they can take Isaiah Simmons. Because Isaiah Simmons is a freak athlete. He's really good. Hands down, I don't need to talk much about it if you have already followed. I predict that the Panthers are going to trade for the Washington Redskins pick. So it's going to be like this. They're going to trade their first rounder, maybe a late round pick, and maybe a next year second rounder and or Cam Newton including. So that way the Redskins will have Cam Newton and Dwayne Haskins. So Dwayne Haskins can learn under Cam Newton with the mobility. Because we saw a little bit of mobility at Ohio State from Haskins, but not much. But he's more of a pocket passer. But learning under Cam Newton, he can actually do that. Just Cam Newton just can't teach him how to slide because he cannot learn squat crap about that. But anyways, I have the Redskins. If they didn't trade the pick, it would be Chase Young. The Lions. Okay, I was going to say if Darius Slay didn't leave for the Eagles, I would say Isaiah Simmons right here. But now, since they've actually lost Darius Slay, they picked up Desmond Trufant. But Desmond, let's be honest, Desmond is past his prime. He's not what he used to be. You know, he's not what he used to be. So you have one of the best players in the draft, Jeff Okudah, what do you want to pronounce him? He would go to the Lions right now. And also, yeah. Now, the Giants have made moves. They brought in Blake Martinez, not a coverage linebacker, more of a run stuffer or anything. But other than that, I mean, in a way, I can see Isaiah Simmons going right here. They took Daniel Jones last year for a quarterback, so I don't see Tua going. Yeah, they need offensive linemen at this pick, but not at this moment. I don't know. They do need edge, they need safety, and they need a linebacker. I think for them right now, they brought in linebacking depth. Blake Martinez is good, but he is not the future of the Giants franchise. Excuse me when I had a drink of water there, but anyways. They need receivers, but not much. They still have Golden Tate, I believe. I feel like they still have a couple other playmakers on that team. So they really don't need receivers at the moment. A safety, yeah, with Peppers and everything. Not Peppers, but you get the point. Yeah, so Collins, I don't know. It's hard to say. Collins left. Oh, Collins used to be on the Giants. Why am I talking? Anyways, I'm too tired right now. Anyways, I think at this point, anybody would be good. Offensive line. But they have one of the top players in the draft with Isaiah Simmons. And I think Isaiah Simmons would go right here. Now, we have the Dolphins. They are really intrigued with Tua Tagovailoa. They still need a quarterback very badly. Offensive tackle. They could possibly handle that later because quarterbacks go off early in the draft. And I think right now their best pick is taking Tua or Justin Herbert. Honestly, if you got Herbert, you got a more established player, while Tua is still trying to develop in a way with injury concerns. But they've had very, very big talks of him coming down to the Dolphins. Even though Tua can run, but he ain't no Russell Wilson. And he has injury concerns, so it's kind of a problem. So, anyways, Tua will go to the Dolphins. This is an easy pick right here. They picked up a lot of weapons already for the Chargers when it comes to defense and everything. So, defense is not a problem right now whatsoever. Receiver is, offensive line, all that stuff. So, right now, you need to get a player that can do it. And I think that player is, where is he? There he is. Justin Herbert will go to the Chargers since Phillip Rivers left. They need a quarterback, and Herbert's right there. Carolina Panthers, like I said, this would be a good pick to have Isaiah Simmons, but it doesn't matter. So there's two picks. You got Derek Brown. You got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, they don't really need receivers once again, but they do need interior. I think they made a free agent move for, if I'm not mistaken, the Vikings defensive lineman. I forget. But, you need younger talents, obviously. These are one of the hardest picks for me since there's no trade options I can do in here. So it would be the Carolina Panthers pick would be Derek Brown. Or some people actually have Javon Kinlaw going after, going before Derek Brown. Kinlaw's more of a, building block. You can build him to, he said you can put him anywhere, he can succeed. But right now, I feel like their biggest priority is interior defensive line and defensive backs. And they have Derek Brown right here. I'll just say they go with Derek Brown. Now, offensive line, honestly, I can actually see only one person going right here early, and that is where is he? Offensive tackle. There we go. I see Mekhi Becton going right before everybody else because his freakish athletic ability, being almost 370 pounds and running a 5'11", very athletic guy. So I see him going before anybody else. The Jaguars, they also need interior defensive line. They need defensive backs, receivers, an edge on side with Ngakoue since they put a franchise tag, but I doubt Ngakoue is going to stay because he might get traded. But right now, with the certain situation they are at, I can see one player going to the Jaguars. It would be either Henry Ruggs or Christian Fulton. Honestly, I think Christian Fulton would be the first corner to get off the board here. So, Christian Fulton would be the pick right there. The Browns have made a lot of offensive line moves. So, they picked up Jack Conklin, I believe. So, that's a good need right there. That's on one side. Now they need another player on the other side. They have they're in a situation where they can actually grab these players. I'm going to go on a limb here. I think they're going to go with Jarek Willis here. And then the Jets, they also need offensive line. They also need edge. They need receiver. Now, we don't know if Robbie Anderson is going to come back to the Jets. So, honestly, in this pick, there's three options here they can choose. They can either get Tristan Wirfs, they can take Jerry Jeudy or Henry Ruggs or Levon Chason. So Chason's good, athletic, but only had 1 year of a good season, Henry Ruggs, good receiver, really fast. That's what they like. Like Robbie Anderson, he was just a downfield threat, and I think the Jets like that type of receiver, I guess. That's just super fast and just go down the field. So it's a really hard choice, but I'm going to go on a limb, and I feel like they would take a offensive lineman before they take a big player. Like when it comes to, yeah, you get my point. But Tristan Wirfs would be the pick right there. Raiders. This is interesting. Since the Niners is here, it's going to be a harder decision to make. Now, they need receiver, they need corner, but honestly, you have 2, 3 good receivers right here that can go to the Raiders, but they also have a pick at 19. So where would you go here, honestly, if you were the Raiders? Honestly, corner is a big need, and receiver is also a big need, but if you look down the line until their next pick, they can possibly pick up a receiver later, honestly. So I'm going to go on here and say that they're going to pick up CJ Henderson before anybody else can get to him. And that's where leaves the 49ers in a spot. So I guess they need a receiver, a corner. Honestly, I think corner was okay for them, but I don't know. There's not much. I mean, there's Trayvon Diggs, AJ Terrell, um, Bryce Hall is in here, but there's not much. Lamar Jackson, but there's not much for when it comes to top, you know, draft spots because C.J. Henderson and Tristan Fulton, top two corners, already off the board for the first round. So they would either have to trade down, where I can see the Vikings picking up this pick, or I can actually see the Cowboys coming in here. It can be a lot of potential ideas. So since the Niners lost out on C.J. Henderson to the Raiders, I mean, receiver depth is pretty fine for them, honestly. But if you are in a situation where you see all these freaking players in here that can make an impact, I mean, it's pretty hard to not go for any of them. Cornerbacks, nope. Running backs, they're already great on the running back core. Interior offensive line. Cesar Ruiz is right here. Interior. Now, since they trade away DeForest Buckner, now there's a big void that needs to be filled. So, actually now, improving here, Javon Kinlaw, or Neville Gallimore, but Kinlaw's right here. I'm gonna be risky here, since they did lose a big interior player in Buckner. They have to replace him some way with Javon Kinlaw, who is pretty athletic himself. Now, not as athletic as Buckner, but still athletic enough. So, it's either a trade down here for them, or they're drafting Kinlaw. Now, Tom Brady, now a quarterback for the Buccaneers. Wow, I never thought I would say that, but he's a band-aid at the moment until he retires. But he needs protection. He really needs a lot of offensive line protection. And honestly, there's two options here. They either will go with my new idea of them picking Andrew Thomas, or they go with my original idea and they go in and pick in Jonathan Taylor. Yes, I picked Taylor over Swift. Fight me. So, no, don't literally fight me, but you get my point. Now, the running core with Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, I mean, they're great. They're not. I mean, they're good, but they're not. They're average, but they're not superstar caliber running backs like they've been needing ever since. Oh my goodness, since like Doug Martin. So I'm gonna have to go on a limb here and say they might trade down. They could trade down at this pick and still pick up somebody later on. So Buccaneers is also another situation where I can see them trading down. But honestly, if I would have anybody going, definitely when it comes to the first running back off the board, it would be Jonathan Taylor. I know, it's insane. Jonathan Taylor going before Swift and Dobbins, I mean, insane. Now, Broncos. They lose Chris Harris from a trade. Receivers are not great. So, they are left with only one choice to grab somebody. And honestly, it kind of hurts for me to pick one of the two. It's kind of hard. CeeDee Lamb is great, but I can see him actually falling down in the draft, in this year's draft. I can see him falling down. So, this is going to be a tough one. It's either between Jerry Jeudy or Henry Ruggs. You get the speedster, or you get Jeudy. honestly, I like Ruggs, but you have to get the route runner, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy would go before Ruggs, I believe. Now, Falcons. They're having an interesting off-season as well. They do need edge in a way. In the way they don't. Tier defensive lines, corners. I mean, I don't see any corners going right here. Honestly, I really don't see any corners going off the board right here. Oof. Don't know about this. This is actually kind of hard to dissect, if that's the right word to use right now, because I don't see anybody first round caliber or projected anyways to go in the first. I guess Jeff Gladney, I guess. I mean, I don't see. I mean, he's ranked third. I mean, I don't know. Gladney's good. I don't know who this guy is, honestly. They're saying he's great. Trayvon Diggs from Bama. We all know Diggs, is Stephon Diggs' brother. He would go to the Bills, but the Bills don't have a pick till later, way later, I believe. So they can't get a corner. Interior defensive line. There's Neville Gallimore, actually. Maybe he can actually fit in pretty well. I mean, there's Raekwon Davis right there, too. But maybe Neville Gallimore. Or, actually, I have a better idea. They will shock the world. Instead of getting Chase on, they will take AJ Espinoza over Chase on. Now, this is where the Cowboys is also going to struggle in. But I already technically have a feeling one player's already going to go to there. It's not going to be a receiver. It's not going to be CeeDee Lamb, even though he would fit pretty well, honestly. Xavier McKinney, I mean, is going to go to... I feel like he would go there. He would fit the mold. Now, the Dolphins. They're back at their pick. And the Raiders are also going to be going back to their pick. They got Justin Herbert. I'm not Justin Herbert. They got Tua Tagovailoa, which a big step. And I feel like their next step is for some good protection on the line. Would you give him protection or would you give him a weapon in this situation? Do you get CeeDee Lamb, or Henry Ruggs, or would you get the protection with Andrew Thomas? Honestly, you can find weapons later on in the draft. Right now, you need a great offensive lineman like Andrew Thomas right here. I would draft Thomas, but that's just me. Now, since the Dolphins took an offensive lineman, the Raiders and John Gruden are freaking ecstatic. They are excited that they are able to take one of the two receivers in this draft. And that pick would have to be possibly CeeDee Lamb. He would fit the mold pretty well. But same would go for Ruggs, honestly, in this situation. CeeDee Lamb is pretty good. Henry Ruggs is pretty good. But CeeDee Lamb fits the mold. He will go to the Raiders. Now, So, and also Marcus Mariota will have a good weapon to throw to. Now, the Jaguars got Christian Fulton. Now, they need interior defensive line. They need safety. They need receiver. Do they want to pick up Grant Delpit and pair him with his former college teammate with Christian Fulton? That would be really insane. They need everything. They need running backs as well, but they picked up Jordan Howard, so I don't think they really need a running back, honestly. So they do need edge in a way. In a way, they don't. See, this is a really hard pick, too. What would you do right here if you were the Jaguars? Neville Gallimore's right here. I thought I drafted him. Oh, no, that was, yeah, that's right. I didn't choose him. Kenlock went to the Niners. That's who I chose. Okay, so. Oh, that's offensive line. Interior defensive line. Neville Gallimore is actually pretty good. Raekwon Davis is pretty good. Rashard Lawrence is okay. Gallimore, I don't know if he would get taken at this point. Safety. Grant Delpit. But there's actually a lot of more options later on. J.R. Reed's down there. That's actually a pretty crazy pick. They can possibly pick him up later. Corner, it's not looking good. Linebacker, they possibly do need him. Edge, Chason is still here at this pick. I feel like they would take Levon Chason. Yeah, they would have to take Levon Chason right here. It just makes the most sense. I don't know. Would you go with Chason? Would they go with Chason or would they go with Gallimore? 6'2", 304. He's a true nose tackle. They're saying. And I believe they are disguised 3-4. I think they're a 4-3, multiple 4-3. So they have defensive tackles playing the edge sometimes. So like Calais Campbell. So I don't know if they would go for that. So Chason is one of the best ones you would go for right now. He is 6'4", 250. Very, very great. Chason would have to go right here. It's just, if Ngakwe leaves, they will have their edge rusher right there. Now, the Eagles don't need corner now. Much more now than before. They say they need linebacker. Patrick Queen's right here. Kenneth Murray's also right here, which is pretty surprising still. They have no more picks till later. What would you do? Would you go with the linebacker? Or will you go with Henry Ruggs? Honestly, I mean, Ruggs is good and everything, but there's so much great players in the receiving core this draft that you're going to have to pick up a linebacker. Even though linebackers ain't that bad either, but they're not as good as as receivers. Patrick Queen, I feel like he's overrated. Very overrated player. I mean, he was a former running back, obviously, but then he got moved to linebacker, so that means he's a very, what's the word? He is very versatile and he knows some defense stuff. So he's a good run stuffer. Not that great in coverage. He's alright. He's average. Kenneth Murray, it's also okay, but he's more of that run stuffer, I believe. So I feel like a lot of Eagles fans would possibly disagree with me. I mean, honestly, I feel like they should pick up Ruggs or Chenault if they had a chance right here. I feel like they would take a receiver since they are losing some players, but they also have some good players right now as well to pick up. So I'm going to go on a limb and say, I mean, even Troy Dye is pretty good. But Patrick Queen's right here, and I feel like they would go with Patrick Queen. But that's just me. Now, they lose Diggs. They lose Trey Waynes and Mac Alexander. What will they do for receiver? I wonder what would they do. Oh, I know what they would do. They would pick up Henry Ruggs to replace, or they would jab at good old oh, that would be a really big jab to Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs will get a big jab from the Vikings from them taking Trayvon right here. But that would not be smart. It would be not that smart. So I feel like they would take Henry Ruggs right here. They would not rub it in just yet. So I feel like Henry Ruggs would be he slipped really far down the draft. Honestly, Ruggs is possibly a top 10 pick. But in this draft so far, honestly, if Patrick Queen didn't go, Ruggs would have went. But since Ruggs fell to the Vikings right there, you had no other choice to pick up Ruggs. Now, Tom Brady is gone. He is no more over there. Some freaking people are putting Jake Fromm and Jacob Easton and Jordan Love in a certain spot like this. Now, don't get it wrong. They are possibly okay, but Jordan Love is kind of like the Jameis Winston right now. He was kind of like that in college. Everyone's saying he's the next Patrick Mahomes, but I don't feel like he is. I feel like that's a big, lot of credit for him, and I feel like that's a little too much. I think it's a little unrealistic. Now, he can possibly be that in his NFL career, but he can also be the Jameis Winston because of his collegiate stats of his touchdown interception ratio. Look it up. You'll see what I mean. Now, his previous year, he did okay, but he's kind of iffy right now with his interception touchdown ratio. But Patriots, it's really weird right now. They can go with edge, they can go with quarterback, they can go with receiver. Honestly, they can go with anybody right now. Now, Belichick is an interesting fella. He would choose someone that we would never ever think they would draft. I can see Zach Braun going to them, honestly. He would fit their system. But I would like to see someone else go other than Braun. Zach Braun would fit the system of Belichick. But that's just me. So it brings us to this point. Quarterback. Will they get Jordan Love? Will they get Jalen Hurts? Jake Fromm? Or Jacob Eason? I don't think they're going to trust Jarrett Stidham right now at quarterback. So they're going to have to find somebody to fill in for Brady's spot. And those are big shoes to fill. Right now, if Jordan Love, I mean, if you look right here, where is this worst trade decision making? See that? best trait is physical gifts. He does have physical gifts. He just makes really bad decisions. They're comparing him to Colin Kaepernick. A lot of people have different ideas. Jalen Hurts. Actually, I can see him becoming a quarterback for the Patriots, but it's not in this spot. I can see him going actually in the second round to the Patriots, if he's still there by then. But I don't know. He is he's really good on his short and medium routes. You know, his short and medium accuracy is great, but his deep is a little inconsistent sometimes, if you can say. I mean, he had a lot. They're gonna say that his he got lucky with players like CeeDee Lamb and a lot of players over there in Oklahoma. Yeah, he had a lot of good weapons to throw to and good offensive line. Now, I feel like Patriots can do the same thing, but right now this is only a first round mock. I don't know. It would be shocking if Jalen Hurts actually goes right here. I don't see Jordan Love going. I don't see Jake Fromm going early at all either. But since quarterbacks are going early, maybe he would be one of the players that they can build for, Jake Fromm. But let's see. This is actually a tough pick. I don't know. This is actually one of the hardest picks I've ever think I'm making so far. I'm going to go out on a limb, and they're going to be ballsy. They would have not let Brady go without a problem like that. Honestly, if they really needed Tom Brady so bad and they knew the draft was not going to be good, they would go out there and be like, "Hey, Brady, here's a big ass contract, just stay." No, he's going to go somewhere. So they're like, "You know what? You can go. We have options." Now, this one's going to shock everybody. It would be either between Jalen Hurts or Jake Fromm. I think Jake Fromm would be the pick. A big shocker. A big, big shocker, him going in the first. Saints. They can get a quarterback later on as well if they want to. They need interior offensive line. They need receiver, I guess. They need linebacker. Honestly, one of the players in here that they need is a receiver. And that receiver is, if I can freaking get to him, is Chenault. Chenault can stay in black and gold. He would be one of those players that would stay in the black and gold for sure. It's kind of tough though. It can even be Rager. Interior offensive line. I think Ruiz is right there. Yeah, Ruiz can go. Cushenberry, Jonah Jackson. I mean, there's offensive tackles, 9 and everything. Honestly, I'm gonna say Ruiz would go. And then now they can the Vikings can actually rub it in Stephon Diggs' face and pick up Trayvon Diggs. Because they need corner. And Trayvon would be the pick. Now, the third pick in the first round for the Dolphins. This is just one of those picks. It's like, I don't know what they would take, honestly. Yeah, they picked up Jordan Howard. They do have some options at running back. But I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know. They're saying they need interior offensive linemen. They need safety. And one of those safeties is still on the board with Grant Delpit. Delpit would be good, but I doubt they would take Delpit right here. Yeah, they can get like Winfield or something later on. Knowing them, they would not go for Delpit right now. So, or they would get Delpit. You know, I'll say they'll shock the world and pick Delpit and be like, you know what? He's fallen so far. Now, Seahawks, my team. This is a very, very biased pick for me. I would want them to go for offensive line, but knowing Pete Carroll and John Snyder, they would go in a different route, I feel like. But they have actually a chance for tackle. Lucas Nang is right here. Got Austin Jackson. I mean, where is that one guy? Where is he? I'm on offensive tackle. John Williams, one of the good ones. Where is he labeled as an interior offensive lineman? Huh. Interesting. Okay. Did he pull out from being he's a Washington UW offensive tackle. Trey Adams. Yeah, where's Trey Adams? There he is. Oh, wow, he's fell down. So there's a lot of picks right here I feel like they would take. Lucas Naing, really good player. He's not good for pass. Flexibility. He's technically known as a center. Okay. Jonah Jackson. I don't know. This is pretty tough. If they need edge, in the worst way, and I know linebackers fine, they don't need linebackers. I know that Griffin is be good on the edge with whoever we got, but we do need another edge, and we have Bruce Irvin, but he is only a temporary option. Oh. Zach Braun's good. He's really good. They're saying he has good IQ. He has foot injuries. I don't know. honestly, I feel like they would. They're picking a lot of offensive linemen in the free agency right now, so they're trying to show us that we possibly don't need offensive line, but we do in the most possible way, obviously. So, oh, and Ruiz went to the Saints. I mean, Cushenberry might be good. Feet are clean. You know, you know what that would be. You know that would be the pick. Would be Lloyd Cushenberry. And then this one is an easy pick. No doubt about it. It would have to be Kenneth Murray. This pick, edge. Yeah, they've let go some interior players and everything. Interior, edge. Neville Gallimore's a good interior, and I can actually see him go. Where is... There we are. Yeah, it'd be Neville Gallimore. Green Bay Packers. Receivers, tight ends, you name it. Tight ends are kind of iffy until the second round. But right here, they have one really good player left right here for them, and that is Chenault. And then here we are with the Niners. They need corner. They pick an interior defensive lineman. That's good. Now they need a corner or a receiver. Right now, I feel like it would be the spot for them to pick a corner. And let's see, what would Gladney look like? He's 6 foot. Those are high school ranks, so Jeff Gladney might go. And then the Chiefs. They need a running back. Big shocker, everybody. DeAndre Swift would go to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the picks for the first round. Took a while for a lot of other ones, but this is my mock draft. So Joe Burrow goes at number 1. Chase Young goes at number 2. Okuda at 3. Isaiah Simmons at 4. Tua at 5. Herbert 6. Derek Brown 7. Mekhi Becton 8. Christian Fulton number 9. Jarek Willis at 10. Tristan Wirfs 11. C.J. Henderson goes at 12. Kinlaw 13. Taylor at 14. That's a big draft right there. Jerry Jeudy to the Broncos. Help Drew Lock. AJ Epenesa for the edge. Hopefully he would be the guy. Xavier McKinley. Andrew Thomas. CeeDee Lamb. Levon Chason. Patrick Queen. Henry Ruggs. Jake Fromm. Very big reach for a quarterback right there. Over Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. But Jake Fromm would be the guy. I could see him fitting in Belichick's system. Only time will tell. Cesar Ruiz. Trayvon Diggs. A little dig at to Stephon. Grant Delpit. Lloyd Cushenberry. But I feel like they would trade down in the draft. Honestly. Kenneth Murray, Neville Gallimore, Chenault, Gladney, and DeAndre Swift. If you have watched the video all the way through, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And comment down below who you would think would go in the draft for your team. If you were the general manager and owner of the team, what would your pick be at your team? What do you think of my mock draft? let's talk a little bit during this whole uh, crisis, they say, the coronavirus. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Hope you're doing well. Be safe. Wash your hands. All that stuff. And, don't touch your face and be away from people and be an introvert like I was before. So, anyways, all jokes aside, thanks for watching the video, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.